There's only sometimes certain games that take over the whole gaming industry. It's kind of like Only Up was, kind of like what Jump King was. There's a game that sometimes takes over everybody streaming. Everybody's just wanting to play it at the moment. And this game definitely takes the cake as well. It's this new kind of described as Pokemon with guns. A lot of people are playing with it right now. But I just wanted to see a little bit more of the background about what is going on with this game and kind of the details behind it. So we're going to be checking out Lugwood's video about how this game is a huge scam, titled Huge Pokemon Scam. Let's get into the video and see what's going on with this game.
I took 1 week off from gaming and I came back to the largest game in the world being a complete and total scam. Or at least that's what I've heard. What's the actual truth? Let's find out. I'm of course talking about Palworld, a game that's taken the world by storm. Everybody's playing it and everybody's giving it great reviews. But don't just take my word for it. Let's listen to Charlie talk about it.
Yeah, I've actually heard good things about this.
Reviews are in, baby. That's Moist Critical himself. He's played the shit.
I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a review. There's more of a comment than anything, but I guess, we'll continue on.
Out of this game, he has a lot more to say about it, but there's also like every other streamer on the planet who's playing it, and then everyone.
That is so true, dude. There's always some games that are like this that are always just taking up everybody. Everybody's playing it. Everybody's going on to it right now. I mean, it's kind of like what is happening at the moment. You gotta play Palworld.
Who's not a streamer also playing it? In fact, Palworld has the highest concurrent player count of any paid game in the history of Steam. Sort of. Technically, it's number.
You know what's funny too? Like, I'm hearing so much about this game, yet I have not seen much gameplay. I've seen nothing but clips of the gameplay. I still haven't seen anything that was like amazing. Like, oh, you have to play this game. You have to be on this game. Nothing too exciting and dynamic. So it's just weird, I guess it's one of those where you just have to jump in and experience it for yourself.
2, PUBG actually has that record with like 3 point something million, but then they went free to play. But it's up there, man. It is up there along with like Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. I think it's even beaten that record. It's like at 1.5 million concurrent players. They've sold over 5 million copies for a paid.
That is insane though. That is insane. I don't even know if these guys are known or anything, but for a company that's not like well known, and for them to come out of the game, and I didn't hear anything about this game. Maybe I saw one like trailer about the game one time, but I think for them to come out and have this a massive success has to be like very rewarding, right?
Game. It is huge. But what is the game? At its core, it's a game where you capture pals. And you use these pals to like maybe gain experience by destroying other pals.
Let's cut it short. It's a Pokemon type clone. Okay, that's simple as that. Okay, simple as that. It's a Pokemon type clone. All right.
Pals, or maybe weakening those pals to capture them and adding them to your team. And if that sounds anything like Pokemon, it's because it has some similarities. It has some similar. I'd be stupid.
Some similarities. Like I'm surprised they're still on the Steam store. Like that type of similarities. Like the fact that they're getting away with this, and on top of that, Nintendo being Nintendo, one of the biggest industry giants, not coming for them or like, claiming them or something like that and not taking them down for the store is insane. I will be expecting this game definitely to come down pretty soon. I just don't know how it's possible that they can obviously take and rip a bunch of like what we see as Pokemon that like it's clearly a Pokemon clone.
Admit that it had no similarities. It has some similarities. But it's not a one-to-one clone, right? The game's not like a turn-based RPG. You kind of flow through and you do battles more freely, and you can also like kill Pokemon outright and butcher them. You can capture trainers. You can also butcher the trainers, which I think is just slavery and murder. It's kind of like an adult version with some Pokemon themes in it, some elements of Pokemon, but in a...
But just having like any type of Pokemon theme, just having anything... Like the surprising fact that Nintendo has not yet done anything about it. Like there's no way that this is going to be continuing on, right?
I guess more fresh way to play it. And people are upset because they're claiming that this game has totally ripped off Pokemon. And I get why the concerns are coming out. Pokemon is a very impactful game. It's a lot of people's personalities, so I can just be blunt about it. And so for a game to come up and rip it off pisses some people off. And they've drawn some comparisons to the Palworld pals versus...
That is definitely like crazy. It's definitely really inspired. You can kind of stretch it if you want to, but a lot of the designs, at least the ones that I've seen, are really, really inspired to the original. It's almost plagiarism, I would say.
Is the Pokemon themselves, and here's one of the more blatant examples I've seen 100 times: the Galarian Meowth being stolen by the Palworld designers, and you can judge for yourself whether it's actually stolen or maybe just slightly inspired. But people are going in. I saw this thread of 100 like different pals and then Pokemon that it draws inspiration from. I will say a lot of them are a stretch, right? Like a lot of them is just like, hey, it is a furret-like creature. And it's like, Pokemon didn't invent a goddamn furret. That's just we got like those creatures.
Yeah, but there is definitely a lot of inspiration from it, right? Like that's clear. It's not too much of a stretch to say, look, I like the body design of this character and we're just gonna work around it. I guess you could say that they did not, create like the furret or whatever he's saying, but I'm more like there is still a lot of similarities to what they have originally designed, right? We can agree with that.
Creatures in our world, and they're called animals, and so I think they're basing the designs off animals. But some are like, okay, yeah, that color scheme is kind of similar. That one maybe perhaps is a little more similar. And so it's basically a game of like, people trying to draw connections and seeing what is valid, what is not valid. Some, I would say, a little more wishy-washy, like this one. You can't really just take over all feathers or the color green. And some are a little more concerning, like the models of a pal and a Pokemon lined up next to each other.
That's insane, bro.
Specifically Luxray and one of the pals.
That is insane.
Look pretty similar with the models and the sizes and the shapes of it. And so I get why people are bringing up the concern. But let's not pretend that Pokemon themselves haven't drawn inspiration from other games. In fact, this is one of Pirate Software's arguments, is that a lot of the Pokemon we know are just creatures or inspired by creatures from Dragon Quests, like Zubat, inspired from this Dragon Quest monster, and there's some other ones that maybe don't make as much.
I did not know that. That is insane. I did not know that. Did Dragon Quest come out before Pokemon? Like, I don't know the lore behind that.
Sense, like this one for Dragonite. And so this is like the counter argument that I'm seeing a lot. But the fact is that the Palworld devs have not at this point received any legal issues from Nintendo. And let me tell you,
which I am super surprised about that. I'm super surprised that they have not sent something over, like the fact that look, we can argue the whole design factor of things, and we could say these are some designs that are similar, some designs that are just like, you can't, obviously, like he's saying, that you can't really say that is yours. But at the end of the day, like, even if it's close to it, I'm surprised that they still haven't done anything about it.
Nintendo will give it out if they want to give it out. They've given it to me good. Nintendo left me no holes.
Isn't Nintendo the same people that will go after you even if you mention a game or you review a game that's like, they didn't allow you to review or show clips of a game? Like, isn't Nintendo that type of person as well?
Refused here, okay? I got a cease and desist myself. So a game that has 1.5 million sales, that is literally being marketed by everyone as Pokemon with guns, if they had any legal grounds to take them down, I think they would take that action. But because of this campaign of hey, Palworld is a ripoff, it has led to some unfortunate consequences for some of the artists on the Palworld team. And this is from the lead developer and the CEO of the company, Takuro Mizobe, who said, currently we are receiving slanderous comments against our artists, and we're seeing tweets that appear to be death threats. And he just said, hey, I'm the guy in charge here. So if you want to slander someone, slander me, not the artist, which, that's
oh, that's awesome. I mean, you got to take as a leadership before it, and obviously some people take this gaming shit way too serious, and I don't understand why you would be sending death threats or whatever. I don't know why would that even, if you are so involved in that type of community, or you're somebody who even sends a death threat, even, it doesn't even have to be Pokemon based. I'm just saying, like, if you're somebody who's just actively sending death threats to people or sending any like type of hate comments, it's definitely a personality issue rather than like a game. Like, there is no way to justify telling somebody that they need to go off themselves because you don't agree with something they're doing. That is just obviously it's just craziness. It's just crazy people being crazy people.
That's a noble thing to say, but is there any validity in it? And I would say,
what?
We can let Nintendo make that call, right? I don't think we need to defend Nintendo or white knight for Nintendo, Nintendo, a very litigious company, will do it for themselves if they truly think that somebody is stealing.
Before he gets into his answer, I think it's important to say what I think before, right? I think right now in this moment, I don't necessarily care what Nintendo does. I don't care if they do send out a cease and desist or whatever you want, the legal jargon you want to throw at it, or do I really care if they're like, I think that you can be inspired from a lot of things. You can take in things that you care about and create your own thing. As long as maybe you're, showing, like even in this moment, I'm reacting to this video, but I'm going to be showing, obviously Lugwitz, and Lugwitz more humongous, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size of the channel. If you're still using somebody else's content, you should, be respectful. And if they tell you to take it down or if they do anything, I'm for that. Obviously they're the one who created the original content, and I would love for them to, communicate that, or, if they send some sort of, strike to my channel, then okay, I totally understood. Obviously there's certain things that call freedom of speech and being able to, also kind of share your own opinion. That's a whole different, thing. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel in general that as long as they're creating their own thing and not completely ripping off the entire thing, then I think it should be fine. I think that you should be able to create things that you care about. I mean, there's a bunch of mods for Pokemon in general, and people play them all the time. I don't know if they have donations. You don't know if they get money out of it, but there's different types of mods in Pokemon that a lot of people do to this day. And for them to be able to do that, I'm sure that Nintendo can easily say, no, you can no longer stream this. You can no longer play the game this way. Like, they can do anything they want. But I think it's just up to the people to really say what they enjoy, and I'm sure he's about to say Nintendo's Nintendo, they can take care of themselves. But is this right? I don't know if it's completely right, as long as they're not ripping off ripping off completely designs of people and stealing designs and not being not paying people for the things. But I think if they're going about it every which way and paying designers, paying everybody, and they're not completely ripping off people, then I don't see a problem with it. At the end of the day, it's a Pokemon-like game. It isn't Pokemon.
Stealing their models, and that would be the thing that's a crime if they were stealing or copying models. And the models
there you
are
go.
available.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure they've every
exactly. There you go.
At some point has ripped models from every single Pokemon game, so it would be feasible to do. And if it's found out that has happened, that would be fucked up. That
would be definitely fucked up. That would be wrong. That is stealing. You're like knowingly stealing and selling a product. Yeah, again.
Up and then they should receive some repercussions, whether it's giving Nintendo a big bag of money or taking their game down. But if all that's happening is that artists are inspired by some Pokemon from Nintendo who's
literally what I just said,
1,000 Pokemon that are oftentimes based off very real animals in our real world, then I don't think that should be such a big deal, and we should be flaming them. But unfortunately, that's not the only complaint that people are levying against Palworld.
Go for it. Let's go.
The other big one is that Palworld is using AI to make their game. And it is sad that people are falling for this AI product because it's fun and doesn't feel...
I don't know what he's about to get into, but let's say that AI in general, I think, can be utilized to help your product. I don't know. I don't understand what the problem is with that. How are they... Let's get into more of the video to see exactly how they're using AI.
Feel like AI, and now AI is going to take over everything. Books, music, art. Sad day for America.
Dude, that's AI, bro. That's AI. That's life. That is life. And I'm sorry. And I know that people are talking about AI and this and AI and the whole writer strike and everything. But I mean, that's just life. Like, at the end of the day, we create technology that one day technology is going to be able to capable of doing things that we're as humans will never be possible to do. But hopefully we set in stone some things that as humans that we're able to do ourselves and gain money or have a good, whether that's from the government, whether that's from ourselves, whether we have jobs, whether we're into tech and we're figuring out how to use AI or not. But that's just, or there's laws against, using somebody's voice. Like, at the end of the day, AI is coming, AI is here. And it's just something, it's a tool that's going to be utilized, and we're just going to have to set, as humans, we're going to have to set boundaries to use it. But at the end of the day, it's like, you still can use AI to do great things, create great products, depending on how you use it,
A day for the world. But there's no real evidence that the game uses AI. The evidence is that the lead developer has been very positive about AI in the past and made an AI game called AI Art Imposter that lets an AI artist draw a picture. And so that was like one of the games. And yes, just generally has been much more positive.
I think about it for him, like as a game designer, as a game creator, like it's easier to do the AI than to hire somebody. What if you don't have the money or the resources to hire somebody and build a whole infrastructure for your game? Like you can have somebody using AI and creating infrastructure, creating whatever it is that you want to create. Like imagine for him that he's trying to like express himself artistically, and this just one of his paintbrushes.
The benefits of AI rather than what is the normal sentiment amongst artists and I guess general Twitter population, which is that AI is bad and it takes jobs from people and we should not support AI across the board.
Come on, stop that.
A taboo word.
Stop that.
Like crypto or NFTs. We don't really care about looking into the details of the project. If it has the word AI, we're pretty much out.
Stop that.
And because this person used to be very positive about AI, it's likely perhaps that
how is that a real thing in society now, that if you're for AI now people are against you? There's no way. There is no way that is a thing now. If you support AI now, you're supporting the machines rather than the humans. Like, come on, that's so black and white. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's actual people in this world who actually have that take, that if you care about AI, you care about the development of AI and the way it's able to create whatever it is that you want to, that you're somehow against human beings.
Has used AI to make this game come to life. There's more arguments that are following that sort of thought. They're basically kind of just trying to frame the team in a certain way to make the argument, rather than using evidence directly from the game to make the argument, which I don't really fuck with. I don't really like just, hey, this person is bad based off their history, and that is why we should not support it, versus we have clear proof of AI being used, so we should not support it.
Stop
that.
I
understand the moral line of not wanting to support AI games because you like humans and what humans make.
Oh my God, bro.
Be right. Don't just slander a character and then go off that.
I guess he's saying that just because you shouldn't judge him, because if he was supporting of AI, like you don't know if he used it or not, you don't have all the information to have that judgment on them. But I could like kind of basing somebody, if someone goes to jail and they come out and they rehabilitate themselves, you shouldn't judge them fully on their past. I totally get that. But as people, like, how are you gonna say that AI is not something that's gonna be beneficial for humans in the long run? And obviously there could be structures and boundaries that we can set as humans if we do truly care about humanity in general. But at the end of the day, AI will be beneficial for people. And sometimes people are unfortunate. There's going to be better ways for performance. There's going to be better ways to create things. There's going to be better ways to get things done and products done. But it's just like, man. But I'm saying this obviously I'm saying this out of the comfort of my home, where I can create, videos and things like that. But maybe one day AI is going to take over that. I'll have a different opinion. But today, my opinion is this: I think it's going to be beneficial,
And then there's a couple other complaints, which is that, hey, this isn't the first time that the Palworld team has stolen before. What you're looking at is not a multiplayer Breath of the Wild. It is actually another game they made called Craftopia, which is being called out for being very similar to Breath of the Wild. It's being resurfaced now. And then they made this game, which people are saying it looks very similar to Hollow Knight and was massively inspired or stole from Hollow Knight. So I'm just trying to give you the full context here of why we are in this situation in the first place.
Many people, many game designers, many game companies take away what they like from other games and put it in their own games. Like, there's so many examples of that. I can't think of one right now in this moment, but there's so many examples that people take. I mean, look at the current new games, dude, are coming out right now. Like, they all take from each other. They all have different systems that they like. They all have different mechanics in fighting games that they like. Like, think about Arkham City and think about Spider-Man. They're using the same type of like almost fighting mechanic that they use throughout most of the games, but they're still good games. They still have their own identity. Just because you pick something out that you like from it doesn't mean that it's necessarily whole bad. I guess Breath of the Wild brought a lot of the traversal of like the gliders and things, and now a lot of games like Genshin Impact uses gliders. A lot of other games use gliders. Like, you got to think about that. People enjoy what they're familiar with, and people enjoy what is good. Why not continue using things and putting your own spin to what is already good?
And it is pretty obvious to me that it all stems from the fact that this game is being marketed as Pokemon with guns. Everyone's talking about it as adult Pokemon, or the Pokemon game we've always wanted. And as a huge Pokemon fan who thinks Black and White 2 are the greatest Pokemon games ever made, it's been a tough, fucking decade for Pokemon, man. The games have been, I think, pretty mid, right? The Pokemon designs have sometimes been a little lackluster in recent years. The gameplay and the games from Game Freak look bad. It looks like a PS2 game, but it's all we get. So we just eat it. We eat the slop that they feed us because we like Pokemon, because it was part.
Same thing with NBA 2K. NBA 2K is always going to be the same thing every year. They add a new feature or bring back a feature, bring back, give it some good graphics, slap it on, give it a the gaming industry went from $60 to a $70 price tag. Now people are buying that. Now they do that. Like, it's the same thing. People are going to be recycling the thing because it works. Call of Duty, here we go again. Like, they brought in wars. They have done a couple of things that have been good. Like, as far as Warzone, bringing BR, they've been adapting to some things, but at the same time, it's just slapping, what's already made and creating something new out of it. It's what works. It's what's consistent. And that's the problem with the gaming industry. People stay with what's consistent. And also, we support that as gamers and people who invest into the games, is that we also like that. We also like not too many changes, because it leaves up too many avenues for people to say, well, I don't like this change. Well, I don't like it. I like it the old way. And it's just unfortunate. You can see that with everything, music industry, gaming industry. You can see that with a lot of things, the shows. It's just human nature for us to not want things that are new and that we don't like.
Part of our childhood. That's how I feel. And I wish they would make something that's more innovative. And Palworld did that. And so I feel like it is creating a divide between people who liked Pokemon and now like this new thing because they've grown up with Pokemon and they like that sort of gameplay and the art style or whatever. And then people who just wish that that Game Freak could do it right, and they don't want someone else to steal it and everyone to leave the Pokemon universe because they've put so much time and effort into this thing. But unless it's proven that they've stolen designs, stolen models, used AI to generate their pals, then I really think it is a nothing burger. It is as big of a problem.
People hating being hate.
You could argue this is a huge problem we should talk about, but it's a different one. As Valorant taking inspiration from CSGO.
Perfect.
Right? A 5v5 tac shooter. A lot of similarities there. Or perhaps Genshin Impact. Taking a lot of gameplay elements from Breath of the Wild. Or a game I played a fuck ton of, Only Up. Taking direct inspiration from the Fadian forefathers of Getting Over It, and basically stealing assets outright. I mean, this game also could end up being
Only Up when it first came out, there was Only Up had a certain assets in there. I don't know if you guys, the Final Fantasy theme song had other things in there that they had to update and take out. So think about that, right? And we all enjoyed it, and it was Palworld, like it is now. It was a super streamable game. People were watching it. It had so much clout until months later, everybody stopped playing it. But every other game, that blows up like this, yeah, it did do that.
What might happen to Palworld? Because this game got taken down from Steam for using stolen assets from Unity, and it got massively popular because it was really fun to play. But it eventually caught up to it, right? The dev took down the game because they couldn't get away with stealing all the assets, like this anime girl right here. And if it's found out eventually that there are any stolen assets, I think the same thing would happen. But we have to wait for it to be found out. You can't jump the gun. Having said that, fans of Palworld are not doing the devs a favor by making all the comparisons. If you watch somebody stream Palworld, they'll sometimes just call the pals Pokemon outright. They'll just say Mons, they'll say Pokemon, whatever. And there's also a mod that's been teased.
Palworld already has Pokemon? That's right, the first mod pack for Palworld is already out.
Oh, that's insane, I saw that.
Converting everything into Pokemon.
Yeah, so this is a problem. Now we have gone too far. Science has gone too far. I think this is, one, making the game massively more popular, all the comparisons to Pokemon, and two, perhaps going to screw it over if everyone is making mods actually stealing assets to make the game more popular. I think Palworld needs to probably admonish this and separate themselves from modders trying to make it Pokemon but for adults and try to form their own identity. And that's
I mean, how are the developers marketing this? Because obviously he keeps saying that they're coming from other outsources, you know, like IGN that I've seen. I follow them on Instagram. They talk about that. Many other places they're talking about that. It's just an easy way to like market it, or you know, easy way for people to get the concept. So I just wonder how the marketing team is doing.
That's the whole story. That's where we're at right now. We're basically waiting for things to get proven. The devs haven't said any more. They haven't mentioned use of AI. He just said the thing about, hey, please don't flame my artists, which I get. And so if there's any updates, I'll let you know. But until then, I'm gonna play it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I gotta say, this is just more marketing for them. I don't know what Nintendo's gonna do, what they're gonna decide to do. If they are stealing, then that's a whole issue on itself. At the end of the day, enjoy the game, play the game, try it out for yourself. I think I'm gonna try it out for myself. I was a little bit undecisive on what I was gonna do about buying it or not, especially because I'm not too much of an open world type of guy. Not that I'm not saying that I don't like Pokemon, but Pokemon's not my favorite thing genre in the world. It just looks fun. It looks it's also the current thing that a lot of people are watching right now. But man, just enjoy it. At the end of the day, we'll see more that it comes out, and we'll just, you know, have to see what it ends up developing from it. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and with that, I leave you with this. Peace.